So I want to welcome everyone to this third presentation actually that we've had about the Academy. The first one was, I don't know if you remember this, it was, I think it was 2019 or maybe, no, 2020, December. And we were just trying out our presentation beginning to go out to other parishes to talk about our school. So on this fifth Sunday of Great Lent, as we commemorate the life of St. Mary of Egypt, who is a wonderful example of what it means to repent through prayer and fasting. So, and I want to thank Julia Matson for redesigning our presentation. She revamped it and it put, I think, a nice little step into what we have to share with you today. So it's not going to look the same as what you remember it. And I want to thank Mark for helping with the slides. So we're going to be talking about the Academy, what we've been doing since September. And we want to update you on all these things because this is our school for our children, for the community's children. It's a place where we can have Christ-centered conversations, Christ-centered learning, raise our children the way that we raise them at home. So in September of last year, our inaugural year, we were grateful to welcome 4 preschool students to our microschooling program, which was tuition-free and will be the same for the next school year, and 2 kindergarten students in our blended learning program. I'll talk about what that means a little bit later on. And actually, before I begin, I do want to hand this out. If anybody is not signed up to our e-newsletter listserv, we don't send out very many emails, to be honest. If somebody wants to help me out with that duty, that would be great. But once we get going with that, you'll be receiving regular updates. So I have a pen here. Okay. So now with that, we will start. Well, these are our manner of the week cards. Every week we talk about a different manner and we review them every single week, and students, we try to encourage them to practice them. So the first one of the week back in September was to smile. All right, on to the next page, please. So, oh yeah, sorry. So the other thing I should mention is my PowerPoint presentation has a little hiccup and it's not working. So I've had to resort to using the PDF of my slide notes. So you're going to be passing through my slide notes while you go on to the next page. So here is actually a picture in the background of one of our catechism classes with the preschool and kindergarten students posing with their artwork from a lesson that we did right before the start of Great Lent, how to prepare ourselves during Great Lent, which is through prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Okay. So first, I like beginning with quotes because it reminds us that we're not alone. This quote reminds me why we're all working so diligently to bring this school to life. Proverbs 22 verse 6, chapter 22 verse 6 tells us, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." This quote pretty much sums up the importance of a proper education in the lives of our children. A good, proper, Christ-centered education will provide a strong foundation upon which a person can grow to their full human and spiritual potential and be able to engage society as a mature follower of Jesus Christ. And this is our school's mission, so happens to be. And the opposite is actually true. A poor education, one that doesn't nurture a child's love for Christ, if they don't see Christ all around them and everywhere, that's devoid of the teachings of Christ and outside of the life of the church and can be spiritually detrimental. Next slide, please. So how is it that we can go about training and preparing our children for this world, which in the spiritual sense, the Holy Fathers of the Church liken it to a secular world that's throwing them into a den of wolves? And we prepare them by offering them a Christ-centered education that honors their minds, bodies, and souls as creations of our triune God. This is what the Holy Fathers consider a proper education for our children, so that they may grow strong spiritually and be able to weather the spiritual tempests that they may be exposed to in the secular world, and come out the victor. That's what we want. It's not like we're shielding them from what's happening. We have to fortify them. And in this quote by St. John Chrysostom, he says, "With us, everything else should be secondary compared to our concern with children and their upbringing in the instruction and teaching of the Lord." St. John here tells us that our children's proper Christ-centered upbringing should be of primary importance to parents above anything else. This is because a child's spiritual health depends on it. Every child deserves a quality, Christ-centered education, and I believe, after researching classical education, this is the type of education that they need, classical Christian education, and more beautifully within the Orthodox faith. And we're grateful for the contributions of time, talents, and treasures by those who are taking an active part in helping to establish our academy, such as the members of the school's board of directors, the many volunteers, those who are praying for the school's success, and those who are contributing to this cause financially and encouraging us with their words. So today, after all that, today we're going to be talking to you about some progress updates on the school building construction. We'll share with you our current program offerings. We'll also let you know what our students have been learning since September, and we'll invite you to enroll your preschool to second grade child for school in 2023, 2024 over at the building. Yay! And at the end, we have an incentive to share with you, so stay with us. All right. That's another picture from our classes. You can move on to the next picture. Our school is a proud member of the Association of Classical Christian Schools, which is abbreviation is ACCS. So if I mention that, that's what I'm referring to. We're actually one of 4 schools in all of Michigan to be a member school. And we're grateful to be a part of the association alongside other strong classical Christian schools, including some that are Orthodox across the state, or I should say across the country. As all of you know, our academy is a grassroots mission whose beginning seeds were planted well over a decade ago when a group of parents at St. Vladimir's rightly recognized the need for children to have access to a Christ-centered education that allowed them to develop morals and values according to the Orthodox Christian faith, rather than be exposed to teachings that are contrary to what we as Orthodox Christians believe in and how we live our lives. Our school's motto is Wisdom and Virtue in Christ, which reveals our desire to impart upon our students a proper Christ-centered education that allows them to attain Christ-centered wisdom and virtue. Because without Christ, wisdom and virtue is in vain, and it could lead us down the path of pride, which is the sin of the evil one, the biggest one that causes fall. So construction of our school building began in 2020, led by Starosta Jack Mitchell. And even though Starosta Jack faced construction delays outside of his control, much progress was made in the school's building's construction with his leadership. And then in mid-2022, Starosta Jack Mitchell handed the reins to our fellow board of directors member, Brendan Hayden. And under his guidance, the school's building construction has progressed very steadily towards its expected completion in the summer of 2023. And during the construction of our building, we are undertaking several measures to help minimize the emission of electromagnetic frequencies, short form or abbreviated as EMFs, such as through Wi-Fi routers. As you know, you will be hard pressed to find a school that doesn't have a Wi-Fi router in the classroom. And these have been found to be, the EMFs have been found to be very biologically active in children, especially because they're vulnerable due to their rapidly growing bodies and minds. Some symptoms of EMFs can include headaches, nausea, dizziness, and lack of concentration. And some people might, that's just to name a few, some people might call the last one as ADD, but this might be actually the cause of it. So while students are attending our academy, we wish to not only support their proper spiritual and intellectual formation, but also support their ability to concentrate and feel best while learning. I will continue with the construction updates, but I invite Brendan. Where's Brendan? Is he here? I'm sorry. Okay, if he was here, I would have invited him to interject to add more information to these pictures, which we will just walk you through from June to March. So here, we showed you what it looked like in June 2022. Move the next slide, please. And here is when we were installing the septic tank in August 2022. And this picture was taken in November 2022, showing an all-parish workday with many volunteers working hard at the beginning stages of the interior framing. And here are a couple more pictures from January 2023, January 2023 workday. If I'm not mistaken, they're putting in the ceiling, but if I'm not mistaken, some of these people are paid workers. So we've been able to, glory to God, through Brendan's guidance and connections, have some paid employees come in but have volunteers assist the paid employees so we can minimize our costs while doing that. Okay, and in February 2023, workers braved, as you can see, the snowy weather and helped to work on the interior of the school building once again. It's a work in progress, but they've made much progress over the last several months. March 2023, this is the most recent picture that I have access to, but this is the most recent picture, which you see a group of volunteers. Again, some are I believe this gentleman was paid, but anyways, the point is we've been able to work together with expert paid workers alongside volunteers, able-bodied. So if you are able and willing to contribute your efforts and manpower to this project, no pun intended, but if you can, please reach out to Brendan. He'd be very happy to hear from you. Okay, so now on to our current programs. These three are intended for homeschooling families, and online is for kindergarten plus. So kindergarten to second grade we'll be offering in the fall. And so each class is an hour and 15 minutes on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Start time to depend on the needs of the parents. We're very flexible in this regard. But this year our kindergarten classes had class from 1 to about 2:15, 2:20. The next option is microschooling, which is in person. So rather than online, there's in person. That happens 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30-ish to 3:30. I'd like it to start right at 9:30, but it's kind of hard sometimes to get that cart out of the shed and bring it in here in time right after service. So that is the ideal starting time for next year, where we don't have to be moving things back and forth. And that is open to preschool students to second grade. Again, preschool this year was tuition free, and we intend to offer the same this year. And that's for 3-year-olds and up, or just about to turn 3 and you think your child is ready to join our preschool class. And for the blended learning, I should also mention the microschooling on Wednesday starts with a church service of some type and then catechism class afterwards. So the students learn something related to a feast that's coming up or something related to the divine liturgy so they can grow in their knowledge and faith. I didn't want to interrupt you, but the one thing that I didn't mention about the blended learning is basically it's a combination of both. So both online and microschooling, which is what our kindergarten students were involved in with this year. And one of those students actually is my son, and he's right over there. Manoli, go hi. Hi. All right. Oh, and I think Vivian just left. I was going to introduce her, but okay. Kindergarten students have experienced great gains in cognitive skills, mathematics skills, and language development. In September, my son started the program not speaking any English at home. Very, very rarely. His preferred language was Greek. And then he starts the program, and in 3 months, he doesn't speak a lick of Greek now. Only English, and very well, mind you, too. So in phonics, our kindergarten students have learned to identify and say each letter, name, and sound, which is important if you want to grow an effective reader, somebody who's proficient at reading. And my son and Vivian have been working to learn to read independently, beginning readers, by sounding out the words and encouraging them to sound out the words when they're stuck somewhere. And they also know how to identify and read a variety of common words like I, be, he, me, for, all these words that are very commonly used but don't follow phonics rules. In math, the students in our kindergarten class have so far been able to count to 100, to skip count by 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 10s. They are able to identify before and after numbers, identify patterns, color patterns, shape patterns, to count using ordinal numbers, so what's the 9th shape in line, to write out word problems, so read it and then write it out in a math sentence, to solve addition problems with up to a sum of 7, and to solve subtraction problems with 1, 2, or 3 as the beginning number. Okay, and then in terms of other things that they've learned, which I have included in there, is just basic facts. Like, for instance, through these kindergarten recitations, they know their full name, city, state, country that the school is in, what's their home address, how many letters of the alphabet, types of letters, what are they, upper and lowercase, consonants, vowels, seasons, months of the year, days of the week, days in the year, days in a month, seconds in a minute, minutes in an hour, hours in a day. Things to relate it to phonics, like phonics rules. What are the 4 HT sounds? What letters almost always paired with Q? It's a U. If you guessed, you are correct. Which letter at the end of a word can change the vowel sound from a short to long? Who knows that? Yes, I know you know that. What is it, Manoli? No, that's if you want to make something plural, right? We talk about making a noun plural, making it more than one. That's S. But what magic letter do we add at the end? I know you know, John. To change a vowel sound from short to long.
Silent E.
Yes, you got it. Silent E. And then we talk about how should every sentence begin, what are 3 punctuation marks to end a sentence, so on and so forth. If you're interested in looking at this, it's pretty fantastic. Very impressive. They know the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem, who's the 16th president, the first president, the capital city of Michigan, the capital of the United States. So, and Abraham Lincoln, right? That was the 16th president. And the beauty about this program is it doesn't go fast. It repeats a lot. So if you think, oh, my child won't be able to catch on, believe me, your child will be able to catch on. Even if you think, your child needs special attention, this is the kind of program that actually allows for that special attention. There's a lot of repetition, and in classical education, repetition is the mother of memory. We always learn things when we are exposed to it frequently. That's why Father Barry might say something more than once, because if he says it just once, it probably won't stick unless you're, what do they call the, I forgot the name of the person that's really good at remembering something when they first see it or first hear it. So, a savant, that's the word I was looking for.
You heard only once, probably.
That's right, the savant, exactly. That's why it wasn't enlightenment. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so now we share with you, and I should mention that I did bring a collection of my son's books, so you can see his progress over the year. These are his phonics books, K and 1. They actually do first grade. It's very advanced. Our online teacher says that she's very impressed with the program. It's stuff that the first graders are actually doing now. These are the phonics books here, math. My son's, this is the first arithmetic practice sheet that he did. If you want to take a look at that really quickly, I just want to show you this one comparison, how far he's come. And forgive me, I don't want to, so this is him writing from 1 to 90 by himself. And all these additions in comparison to, in September, writing just the numbers. Okay. So this program is very quick, but it's because there's a lot of repetition. So don't think your child cannot manage. I guarantee you that they will. So, this is a parent testimonial. One of the parents, I asked for parent feedback. One of them sent this, and I thought it was really sweet. I'd like to share it with you. Since I started taking my daughter to A2OCA, her social skills have thrived. Every day it seems like she gains a new skill from being there. She's learning how the classroom functions and how to play with other children. Her manners are improving, and she's learning to use her words to ask for what she wants. This is a big thing in our program. Kids that age really, if they don't get their way, they just want to scream. Or if they don't like something, they scream. Or if they're hungry, they scream. So unless you've raised your child really, really well, you might bypass this stage, but we see this a lot. And so one thing that we encourage the children is to verbalize. Don't scream, verbalize what you want. So we read stories and do arts at class and learn about the Orthodox religion. I love taking my daughter here because I feel that it's a safe environment. And that's because Christ is present. Let's be honest. All right, so here are a few pictures from September 2022. These are pictures taken during our lesson on the feast day, the exaltation of the Holy Cross. So they're doing a related, this is the lesson, they're doing the related activity. Next slide, please. Okay, in this picture on the left, students are using their sense of sight and touch to identify which apple will weigh more, so they're using judgment. Then they test out their hypothesis using a bucket balance scale. And this is in time for when there's apple harvesting in September, October. So the curriculum is very much in tune with the seasons and the activities that happen during that season, so you can do things that relate to that. In the picture on the right, students are read a read aloud every single week and read it as much as we can. Usually we only get to it once or twice, but again, that's because we only have the 2 days of instruction. But and just to reiterate, the students participating in the kindergarten program are doing it's the homeschooling. It's for homeschooling parents. So there's the online and the microschooling involved. And so what we do with every single read aloud is we discuss some words that we don't know, discuss some interesting things happening, what they think is happening on the page. I can go on to the next slide. Okay, and in here the picture shows students participating at the Great Blessing of Water service on January 18th of this year. So they were blessed with this service before starting their school day. On Friday mornings, students have show and tell on the carpet. During show and tell time, students get the opportunity to share with their classmates something that they would like to share that's interesting to them, that they happen to really love at that point in time, which changes frequently, you'd be surprised, and practice their manners as well. So we remind ourselves of our manners and we practice them. And they also help support their positive communication skills with each other. Okay, on the left over here, we have Mrs. Ksenia pictured. Can't see her, she's probably in the kitchen. Helping cut the cake that the preschool students that she led helped bake, and they are sharing it with their kindergarten classmates. And you can't believe the excitement in all of their voices. It was a really loud few minutes there, but they really enjoyed that fellowship, enjoying the fruit of their labors. Students also engage in a weekly themed arts and crafts project related to the read-alouds. And that helps to further engage them with the book of the week, but also in new vocabulary and other things that pertain to the craft. So this was about a snowstorm. This is about, has anybody ever read the book Ace Fish? I know it's a children's book, but has anybody ever been exposed to Ace Fish? Okay, this is the craft for it. Abraham Lincoln penny is there, so you can see him poking through the window. It's actually quite a beautiful book if you ever want to see humbleness in action in his when he was a boy. And then in the third picture, we're singing the wheels on the bus together, and we also sing nursery rhymes together, hand songs like It's a Baby Spider, Pat a Cake, Simon Says, so that I can assess their ability to follow instructions and their knowledge of certain things. Like they'll say, touch what you use to hear. Right? So they have to understand what hearing means in order to touch the right thing. All right, we are almost there. Okay, here are some more pictures. Students enjoying fellowship together, not only during storybook reading times and arts activities, but also during recess. Get some fresh air outside. And here are some pictures from our catechism class. And I have to thank also Mrs. Ksenia, if she's not here still, but she's been a godsend coming to help us during those days. I don't have much help on Friday, so if anybody wants and has time to spare on a Friday, come and help. That would be fantastic. And here, what did I want to say about this picture? Okay. So they're growing in their knowledge and practice of our Orthodox faith and catechism class. And in the third picture, we are practicing doing a full prostration in preparation for the fourth Sunday of Great Lent, which was the Sunday of the Veneration of the Holy Cross. And just a couple weeks ago, you were here as well, or many of you at least. Students were blessed by a visit of the curse root icon to start their school day, as well as a procession to and from the school building on the fourth Sunday of Great Lent, commemorating the veneration of the Holy Cross. So I mentioned the school offerings. So in coming September, we still are offering microschooling for preschool and junior kindergarten. But for kindergarten to second grade is when we offer full-time. We cannot offer full-time for preschool and junior kindergarten, but the online microschooling is also available to kindergarten and second grade students. So if you are interested in using a classical curriculum as a homeschooling parent, first I'd say try joining our academy full-time, but if you cannot, for whatever reason, we respect your decision as first educator of your child. I encourage you to come up and check out the beautiful quality curriculum materials that we have. I have the preschool manual here, the junior kindergarten, and the kindergarten and first grade. So if you want to check those out, I have them available, and I can give them to you so you can see. So ultimately, it's our belief that a school has to be in partnership with parents to provide an education that complements their children's Christ-centered upbringing. After all, parents' role as first educators of their children is God-given, and it's not for a school to take away. So we have to do our best to support parents to fulfill, to their best of their abilities, this important obligation. Okay, so what is next? Please, next slide. Please connect with us today. We have I'm gonna have to step over here. Sorry, a lot of wires. We have a family interest form. If you'd like to fill this out, then someone from the Academy will get back to you. And it involves indicating your best day time to discuss your needs and our offerings and how we can match the two, preferred contact number, and then if the child that you have in mind, just fill in that information for the first half. The second is for a second child, so it's really just half a page. And if you enroll by May 30th, you receive 1 month's tuition free, which is just spread out over the other months, so your tuition is actually less per month. So we're grateful to be partnered with all of you in this Christ-centered mission and to educate our children in the classical Christian tradition within an Orthodox Christian environment. Perhaps you may not have children that can join the Academy, but how else can you be involved? We talked about donating your time, talents, and treasures. You can donate financially, not only to help us complete this construction of our school building, but also towards our tuition assistance program to help families in need who wish for this type of quality education for their children. Your contribution is priceless, even if you think it's just a few, let's say, pennies or whatever, but everything adds up. If everybody was to give that much, it would certainly be a lot. So if you're interested in donating, I do have packets here for donors. If you're happy or you're more than willing to, what do I want to say? I want to say you're more than welcome. That's what I want to come take one. And the thing that I ask those that take one to do is once you're done with it, give it to somebody else that you think might be interested. And if you'd like to apply to be an instructor, we welcome your contributions. We just would like someone who has a passion for teaching children and a willingness to learn more about classical education. And above all, please pray for the success of our school, and may it be the start to many others across Michigan. So thank you for your time and consideration, and as always, we appreciate your support and prayers. And if you have any questions, we look forward to addressing them here. I'm sure I've gone way over my time, but I just wanted to keep you updated on what's happening because this is our school. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Irene. Mark, thank you for coming and presenting to us. Do people have questions? Because it's really important that we have an open kind of dialogue here so that everybody knows what's going on, everybody understands where we're going and what we're planning to do. So who has questions? Euphemia.
Is this supposed to be kind of a supplement to like people from homeschool, or is it like a replacement?
I think the answer is yes.
Well, no, you have to continue homeschooling at home because we only meet, depends on which program you choose. Even if you choose the blended learning, which is both online and in person, you only have online for an hour and 15 minutes on those 3 days. You'll have to, so what are online instructors?
What about this coming year? Don't we have an in-person program?
Oh, the in-person full-time program is full-time. It's 8:30 to 3:30. But I think you were talking about the other programs. Is that right? Okay, so just to clarify, the full-time program, you do not have to homeschool. You're leaving your children to us, you're entrusting them to us. We will deliver the same quality curriculum that homeschooling parents are delivering in the homeschooling programs designed for them. The homeschooling programs are the online. The microschooling, which is just 2 days a week, but again, the other times that we don't meet the parents or a guardian or someone that's in charge of the child's education at home has to take on that responsibility to deliver the rest of the curriculum. But the hard or challenging curriculum topics, those are addressed in class or with our online instructor. And I have a couple of clips I could show of what the online looks like and the in-person. I don't know if it's going to work on the laptop though.
I would not put a lot of hope in that.
Okay.
So can I say something?
Yes.
I think the key is that we have full-time starting in the fall, right? So what's happening now is kind of been a bridge to that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not able to use the church every day, so we can't really have full-time instruction. But going forward, beginning in the fall, we'll have a full-time program. There are other offerings that we have as well, but there will be a full-time program. To me, that's the key takeaway here.
Yes.
That's what we're working hard on doing.
I was unclear. There is a full-time, but as Father said, it's a bridge year just because there was a need for this from homeschooling families. So we decided why not, but it has to be in the church because the school building is not completed yet. It will be by September, so then by then we will have the full-time available. Yeah. And because we've enjoyed the microschooling and the online so much, we're going to continue that. I don't want to say it was an experiment, but it was what we had to do at the time, and it's worked out so well, so incredibly well. We want to share it with the communities.
What
So
could go wrong?
when I say communities, wider communities, we're actually presenting at other parishes and letting them know about those programs. So maybe full time is not an option for them, but maybe online and microschool and coming 2 days a week from far is an option. So sorry, yes, question.
Is there a donation box for the school program?
Father, that's a question for you. A donation box for the school.
Right now, there's not. So if you
There's an online one.
So we have this really cool little box over here. I don't know if people have seen it beside St. Nicholas for the kids to be able to give alms. So we're gonna put one over by St. Margari since he's the patron saint
He's
of our
the
school. But that's in process.
Right. That's a good question. Thank you for asking. Yes.
So you said that usually you
do this presentation or tell people about the school among the Orthodox parishes. But outside the Orthodox world, have you considered to?
We have not considered, I
okay.
mean,
Okay, so that's a good question. The parish school and the programs that we are offering is open to anybody in the community that is searching. Of course, they sign a contract that says that they understand that this is an Orthodox Christian school, so their children must follow the program, which involves catechism class is not optional. Coming to church on liturgy days is not optional, or not coming. Yes, it is. It's not optional. What I meant to say, not coming is not optional. Yeah. So essentially, we are trying to be like an apostolic kind of mission where we're showing people what the faith is, as long as they're willing to receive it and learn more about it, and hopefully find the true Orthodox faith.
Just recently in the local paper, I saw an article about new classical Christian school in Saline opening, and so it was a whole article in the in the local paper. That's why I just was wondering, maybe we should do something like that, let people know that it's here.
We should go trash it.
Very good idea. I think we're going to be taking that approach very soon. We did last, was it a year and a half ago? We did advertise through a magazine, but I think it's time to do it again.
So that's the first Catholic school to be built in that diocese in like 30 years or something like that. And so they let the paper know when they picked it up. I'm sure it's the same. Actually, we have the same paper in Celine and Dexter. I'm sure that they will do the same for us. So when it's time to move into the building, I think that's a great idea. It's free press, and I think it will be something really great.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Mm-hmm.
Other questions?
Okay, any other questions that I can address?
Chris?
Yep.
I thought it was really interesting, good that you mentioned the electromagnetic frequencies, because not a lot of people talk about that, and the children's skulls are much thinner.
I agree, yeah. I mean, not I agree, that's scientifically proven.
And there's a lot of stuff out there on NIH studies that
Right.
because when the planes fly over these new 5G towers, the 5G towers have to power down to allow the aircraft to fly over, so it messes up their instruments.
Right.
So if these towers have to power down to oblige aircraft, they're not powering down to oblige children on the playground. I think it's really important that
Yeah, which is really ironic. Yeah.
I think that's a very important variable because health is the most important thing that we learned recently.
Right, and when you're learning, you're not your best when you're agitated, and that's one of the symptoms, right, of EMF exposure. When you can't concentrate and you're forgetting things. So, we want to support the learning as much as possible.
I'm very impressed.
Glory to God for all things. Glory to God for all things.
Other
Any
questions?
other questions?
I have comment.
Okay.
We didn't ask for
Ksenia,
comments.
were you here the whole time? And I was saying, thank you, Ksenia, where are you?
It's so wonderful to volunteer, and it's a blessing. It's a hard job, but please join us. You have a couple hours. Oh, it's wonderful to spend with kids, and I hope we'll get more kids, and it's just they're fun. You kind of feel like a kid, so
Right.
please join.
And again, I thank all the volunteers, including Ksenia, and everyone that's contributing towards building the school building. So God bless you all on your efforts and your path towards the Heavenly Kingdom. And thank you again for your time. And sorry it took so long, but I felt you needed to know everything that's been happening.
It was good. I just want to end like we began. We're now, brothers and sisters, making that turn towards the fall when the school will be open, the kids will be here. It's a big push for all of us in the parish. Thank God we're right on track. Brendan's getting that thing built with a lot of volunteer work and with some folks coming in and that we're paying also. So let's pray and work and pray. And if we do that, then we're ready to go. But Irene's going to say, we want to kind of end that with a big rah-rah, but now Irene's going to take it back down. So I'll come back for another rah-rah. Go ahead.
I forgot to mention, we have a tuition assistance fund. Okay, and there's money in it. Okay, it's for families that really want this education but can't afford it, and that's fine. Lots of us are in that boat. But please, the only way that you can access it is if you apply for it. And everybody seems to give up at the, oh, that's how much it is? Okay, I'm done. We have to do all that we can to offer our children the best education. There's absolutely nothing more worthy of our time and attention and talents and treasures than the education of our children. We're planting seeds to sainthood, and I don't think there's any other better investment than that. And then we also have discounts for multiple children.
Back to the rah-rah. So the beautiful thing about that is if you want to be in this school, whatever your finances are, we're going to make that happen. We're going to make that happen. We are not going to have a school just for elite kids. This is for everybody. So everyone should look at this and say, I can go there. And not only can I go there, I should go there. And if we have that kind of approach, we're going to be great. So brothers and sisters, let's pray, let's work, let's pray. And with God's help, everything's going to be awesome. We'll be opening up in the fall, and it's going to be something really beautiful for our parish. Irene, thank you for coming. Mark, thank you for coming. All school board members, thank you for your hard work. Brothers and sisters, let's enjoy this last week of Great Lent and pray for the success of our school.